Every so often, a low-budget British indie film comes along and smacks you squarely in the gut. Protein, the debut feature film from Tony Burke, is one such film. A gruesome, gutsy, and frequently darkly funny thriller that places trauma, gym culture, and cannibalistic vigilantism in a blender and presses puree. Let's dig in. At the center of Protein is Sean, played by Craig Russell, an ex-soldier back from war but far from peace. Racked with PTSD, unemployable, and living in a rundown Welsh town, Sean takes a job at a local gym. It's a place full of fragile egos and pent-up testosterone. Ripe ground for the kind of moral rot this film revels in. But instead of simply spotting bench presses, Sean becomes a literal butcher of bad men, quietly dismembering and actually eating local drug lords. He calls it justice, or perhaps just a lean source of protein. The result is part serial killer horror, part revenge thriller, with a healthy splash of Jim Bro Noir. And yes, some very obvious, charming and cheeky nods to what can only be described as British dialogue exchanges. Protein straddles tonal extremes with unusual confidence. On one hand, it's relentlessly grim. Violence is shown with unflinching brutality, and the air is thick with rot, both moral and literal. Yet it avoids becoming a slog, thanks to a current of bleak humour and flashes of absurdity that recall the likes of Dead Man's Shoes or even early Shane Meadows. The visual palette is suitably grim, lots of concrete, sweat, and murky interiors. And yet, it's never visually dull. Burke and cinematographer Adrian Musto keep everything intimate. They keep the camera claustrophobic, and they keep everything purposefully character-driven. It's really quite the accomplishment because it's a style that knows how to evoke unease without feeling the need to shout about it. Craig Russell, who also starred in Burke's 2014 short version of Protein, delivers a hauntingly restrained performance. He plays Sean as a man emptied out by violence, someone whose moral compass has been eroded into a crude, twitching instinct. What's remarkable is how Russell manages to make Sean not just terrifying, but at times actually sympathetic. His silence carries weight. His occasional bursts of rage feel earned. You believe him not because he tells you who he is, but because the film lets his trauma seep through the cracks. And the supporting cast adds texture and depth to what could have easily been a one-man show. Andrea Hall brings steely precision to the role of Detective Patch, but never slips into a cliche. She's as emotionally adrift as Sean, just wearing a badge to hide it. Meanwhile, Charles Dale Stanton, an underworld figure who toes the line between menace and farce, is a standout. There's a humanity to even the most reprehensible characters here. They're not cardboard villains. They're recognizable, fallible, tragically small, caught in a web that they helped spin. And dialogue in Protein has that distinctly British knack for combining pathos with bathos. It's filled with narky one-liners, gallows humor, and the kind of unfiltered banter you hear in real gyms, real cabs, and real prisons. Burke uses Protein as a darkly comic dissection of modern masculinity. The gym here isn't just a setting, it's a crucible, a place where broken men go to feel powerful, to rebuild themselves in iron and anger, but under that muscle lies rot. The film doesn't preach, but it does provoke. Sean's cannibalism is extreme, but it's rooted in a deeply human instinct to purge the world of those who cause pain. It's vigilante justice warped into something unrecognizable, but oddly logical in the moral vacuum Burke creates. There's also an undercurrent of commentary on class, trauma, and the institutions that abandon these people, failing to rehabilitate them, then wondering, hey, why do they snap? If Protein has a flaw, it's that it occasionally bites off more than it can chew. Around the midway point, as more and more bodies pile up and more subplots spool out, the narrative briefly, and I mean briefly, loses its grip. There's a sense that Burke maybe wants to say everything in his first film, when saying slightly less might have packed more punch. Still, it's a minor gripe. The film's ambition, part of its charm, and its sharp editing and performances keep it from ever sagging. At 93 minutes, it never outstays its welcome, even if it does for a moment leave you feeling a little bit overstuffed. Such a goddamn good film, man. It's so good. It is one of my films of the year. At this point, as of recording in July, Protein is absolutely one of my films of the year. I'm going to give Protein a very, very, very high 8 out of 10. It's not just a strong first feature film, I think it's a statement of intent. Tony Burke has crafted something dark, visceral, and disturbingly funny, anchored by stellar performances from Craig Russell and a script that's as sharp as a boning knife. It may be too twisted for some and too grimy for others, but for those who like their cinema raw, morally ambiguous, and full of bite, no pun intended, Protein is one hell of a meal. So have you guys seen Protein? If you have, let me know what you thought down in the comment section below. And are you a fan of British independent cinema? Let me know some of your favourite British indie films down below as well. The Protein is available now on Apple and Amazon to stream. Please go and support this fantastic piece of art and let me know what you think once you have, as I said. But for now, if you are new to the channel and movies are your jam, please do consider subscribing. Do like the video if you've enjoyed this review, and I'll hopefully see you on the next review right here on the Silver Screen Dudes. Bye for now.